Shalom, children of the Most High, Yahweh, our Elohim. Welcome. Time for our midweek Bible study. We'll be continuing our journey in Bereshith, which is Genesis. And tonight we're going to go through chapters 27 and 28. So I ask you, please go get your Bibles, because if you read along, it's easier to understand. It's easier to learn. Okay? See it with your eyes, hear it with your ears. Eyes to see, ears to hear. Alright? Alright, let's go ahead and get into this tonight. Bereshith, which is Genesis, chapters 27. And it came to be, when Isaac was old, and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called Esau, his elder son, and said to him, My son. And he answered him, Here I am. And he said, See now, I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now then, please take your weapons, your quiver, and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt wild game for me. And make me a tasty dish, such as I love, and bring it to me to eat, in order that my being does bless you before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spoke to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt wild game, and to bring it. And Rebekah spoke to Jacob her son, saying, See, I heard your father speak to Esau your brother, saying, Bring me wild game, and make me a tasty dish to eat, and bless you in the presence of Yahweh before my death. And now, my son, listen to my voice, according to what I command you. Please go to the flock, and bring me 2 choice young goats, and I make a tasty dish for them from them for your father, such as he loves. And you shall take it to your father, and he shall eat it, so that he might bless you before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, See, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man. What if my father touches me? Then I shall be like a deceiver in his eyes, and shall bring a curse on myself, and not a blessing. But his mother said to him, Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice, and go, get them for me. And he went and fetched them, and brought them to his mother. And his mother made a tasty dish, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took the best garments of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the young goats on his hands, and on the smooth parts of his neck. Then she gave the tasty dish, and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hands of her son Jacob. And he went to his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who are you, my son? And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you said to me. Please rise, sit and eat my wild game, so that your being might bless me. But Isaac said to his son, How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because Yahweh your Elohim brought it to me. Then Isaac said to Jacob, Please come near, so that I feel you, my son, whether you truly are my son Esau or not. And Jacob went near to Isaac, his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. And he blessed him. And he said, Are you truly my son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and let me eat of my son's wild game, so that my being might bless you. So he brought it near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said to him, Please come near, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garments, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is like the smell of the field, which Yahweh has blessed. And Elohim give you of the dew of the heavens, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be those cursing you, and blessed be those blessing you. And it came to be, as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had hardly left the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunt. And he too had made a tasty dish, and brought it to his father, and said to his father, Let my father rise, and eat of his son's wild game, so that your being might bless me. And his father Isaac said to him, Who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled exceedingly, and said, Who was it then who hunted wild game and brought it to me? And I ate all of it before you came, and I have blessed him. Yes, he is blessed. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, Bless me too, O my father. And he said, Your brother came with deceit, and took your blessing. And Esau said, Was his name then called Jacob? For he has caught me by the heel these 2 times. He took my birthright, and see, now he has taken my blessing. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? Then Isaac answered and said to Esau, See, I have made him your master, and all his brothers I have given to him as servants, and I have sustained him with grain and wine. And what, then, shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said to his father, Have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said to him, See, your dwelling is of the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the heavens from above, and by your sword you are to live, and serve your brother. And it shall be, when you grow restless, that you shall break his yoke from your neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father draw near, then I am going to kill my brother Jacob. And the words of Esau, her older son, were reported to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, See, your brother Esau comforts himself concerning you, to kill you. And now, my son, listen to my voice, and rise. Flee to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him a few days, until your brother's wrath turns away. Until your brother's displeasure turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him. And I shall send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day? And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am disgusted with my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth, like these who are the daughters of the land, what is my life to me? Pretty interesting what's going on here. Okay, Isaac is old. He can't see very good anymore because he's old. And so he wants to give Esau a blessing. He knows that Esau's got 2 heathen wives, and he is not the greatest person. But Isaac wants to bless him because he's the firstborn, the inheritor of the family, even though he sold his birthright. So he tells him to go out and hunt him up some game because he's hungry and he wants some wild game. So Rebekah overhears this and grabs Jacob and says, wait, you need to go do this because you need to be blessed in place of your brother. And Jacob's like, oh boy, Mom, I don't know. That's a scary deal. Dad's going to know. She says, just do it anyway. So she makes him dinner, and Jacob takes it into him. And he bluffs his way through it, and he gets the blessing and runs out as Esau is getting there. So then the blessing's already been given. And what's Isaac supposed to say? Sorry, kid, your blessing I gave away to your brother. And so Esau is even more mad because he legitimately sold his birthright over a bowl of lentil stew because he had committed murder and was sure that it was going to come back on him. But this time, Rebekah just pushed him out of the way and shoved Jacob in there. It's because of the bloodline. The bloodline had to be sustained. It had to remain pure. Esau was not of a pure bloodline if he went and took 2 heathen wives. He's knee-deep in idols. So, for Jacob to be sent to Uncle Laban's house, there's that name again, Laban. Go ahead and put a yellow mark by that because he's coming back into the story now. And going to get kind of spicy from here. Alright. So let's go ahead and do 28. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and commanded him and said to him, do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padam Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take a wife for yourself there, from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. And El Shaddai bless you, and make you fruitful and increase you, and you shall become an assembly of peoples. And give you the blessing of Abraham, to you and to your seed with you, so that you inherit the land of your sojournings which Elohim gave to Abraham. So Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Padam Aram, to Laban, son of Bethuel the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. And Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob, and sent him away to Padam Aram to take himself a wife from there, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a command, saying, do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan, and that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother, and gone to Padam Aram. So Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Isaac, and Esau went to Ishmael, old Uncle Ishmael, and look, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Naboth, to be his wife, beside the wives he had. And Jacob went out from Beersheba, and went toward Haran. And he came upon a place, and stopped over for the night, for the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of that place, and put it at his head, and he lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and saw a ladder set up on the earth, and its top reached to the heavens, and saw messengers, small m messengers, of Elohim, going up and coming down on it. And see, Yahweh stood above it and said, I am Yahweh, Elohim of Abraham, your father, and the Elohim of Isaac. The land on which you are lying, I give it to you and your seed. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall break forth to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. And all the clans of the earth shall be blessed in you and in your seed. And see, I am with you, and shall guard you wherever you go, and shall bring you back to this land. For I am not going to leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. And Jacob awoke from his sleep, and said, Truly, Yahweh is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid, and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of the heavens. And Jacob rose early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put at his head, and set it up as a standing column, and poured oil on top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel. However, the name of that city had been Luz previously. And Jacob made a vow, saying, Seeing Elohim is with me, and has kept me in this way that I am going, and has given me bread to eat, and a garment to put on, when I have returned to my father's house in peace, and Yahweh has been my Elohim, then this stone which I have set as a standing column shall be Elohim's house. And of all that you give me, speaking of Elohim, I shall certainly give a tenth to you. Okay, we got some more interesting stuff going on here, because now Isaac has sent Jacob to Uncle Laban's house to go get a wife, because nobody is happy about Esau marrying the heathens. So what does Esau do? He gets mad, and he goes over to Uncle Ishmael's house. Good choice, Esau. Goes to Uncle Ishmael and says, Hey, Uncle Ishmael, let me marry your daughter. And Ishmael's like, Go, kid. So now he's 3 deep in heathen women. And Jacob's on the trail, and he's headed to Uncle Laban's. And on the way, he stops to sleep. And this is called Jacob's ladder. This is a vision that Yahweh gave him of the angels, small m messengers, the angels, going in and out of heaven up and down this ladder. And this is where Yahweh spoke to Jacob and got things squared away as far as what is supposed to be going on here, and the covenant that he made with Abraham and with Isaac. Now he's making it with Jacob. Okay. And he tells Jacob, you go on to Uncle Laban's house and go get yourself a wife, and you'll know, because when I'm through with you, it's going to be a whole different scene. So, that's pretty interesting about all of that. And then, of course, Jacob takes the stone that he had at his head and turns it into a column, and he anoints it with oil in honor of Yahweh. So it's pretty interesting. He's going to build a house on there for Elohim. For Elohim, he's going to build him a house. So, and then at the very last verse of the chapter, he establishes a tithe. Now I know that anybody that's been in church for a long period of time you've been tithing. The basket comes around, you put whatever you got that you can into it. Try not to put any ones in there because everybody else behind you will look at you funny and stuff. But Jacob is establishing a tithe, which is, when we get into Leviticus, you will see Yahweh speaking of this to Moses, to Moshe. And it's a tenth of your yearly earnings. Okay? So, all these organized religions that want you to send in an envelope every month, and just like this one family that I know, they had the belief that you could buy your way into heaven by sending in money every month to the church. Yeah, look at the Mormons, they're just as bad. They all are. Because the pastors are getting rich off of the people's money, off of the congregation. And that shouldn't be. Right here it establishes that you tithe to Yahweh a tenth of your yearly earnings. We'll get further in depth as we get into Leviticus about all of that, because it is established. And that is what these churches are supposed to be going by. Not, we're not worried about it. If you couldn't make it to church, we'll just send you an envelope. No. That's greed, and that is corrupt, and that is not right. But now, we're going to know what is right once we get into Leviticus. Okay? Thank you for joining me tonight. I do appreciate you coming in, and I appreciate you reading along with me. Thank you. Eyes to see, ears to hear. That does it for Bereshith, which is Genesis, chapters 27 and 28. And I will see y'all later. Have a good night. Shalom.